When you're collecting plants, you learn all kinds of interesting and essentially useless trivia. For example, I learned that the term longboy is used to refer to plants that have long leaves. And here all this time I thought longboy was, well, about something else. So join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at 9 Longboy Hoyas. And they're all lined up right over here. So with your tasty beverage and a measuring tape, let's take a look at these 9 Longboys. And the first Longboy has got to be Hoya sulawesiana. This is so cool. I wanted one of these as soon as I saw it. Hoya sulawesiana is of course native to Sulawesi, in particular West Sulawesi, the Mamuju city area. I'm not sure which that is. It was originally collected by Andreas Samborakarang and was published in 2020 in Taiwania by Sri Rahayu and Michaela Roda. Now these leaves, see if I can do this without turning off the camera or doing any of that other stuff. These leaves are just amazing. And measuring now, there's 7 inches on that one. There's 6 on that one. And this one up here, yeah, there's 6.5. So they're, these qualify as longboys, I think. They're thick. I can make a whole bunch of jokes about being long and thick, but I'll let you make them all up. They're very interesting. I love, let's see if I can do this again without spilling everything. I love the vein pattern on that. Focus for Daddy. See if that'll do it. That's a little bit better. It's very, very pretty. For me, this one has been kind of a fits and starts plant. It settled in for a while, didn't do much of anything, and then it took off and grew a whole bunch. And then it settled down for a while, and then it took off and grew a whole bunch. And lately, it's been doing okay. It's on a bit of a growth spurt. My guess is that it's something about temperature. That there's a temperature range that I hit maybe twice a year that encourages the growth. It's it doesn't. Okay. A leaf getting caught in the pot. We don't want that to happen. Because as sturdy and thick as these leaves seem to be, I've managed to damage a couple of them by getting stuck in the pot while I'm putting the insert back in or something like that. But anyway, I'm thinking that there's something about twice a year when the temperatures are just right that encourages growth. It hasn't bloomed for me yet, but it's been doing fine, so we don't have any issues with this one. He's a little slower than I would like, which is, of course, no new growth in 24 hours. But this has been really cool. This one came from GRV Greenland Shop on Etsy, and he's just really pretty. I like this plant. Maybe I just have a thing for longboys. But anyway, this is Hoya sulawesiana. And the next longboy is my Hoya griffithii. Now, Hoya griffithii is native to Assam, south central and southeast China, Hainan Island, Laos, and Vietnam. It was first published in 1883 in Flora of British India by Joseph Dalton Hooker. And some of you appreciated my joke at his expense the last time, so I won't repeat it. Anyway, let's get the measuring tape out. Not that size is important, but we are talking about long boys. So, there's 5.5. There's 6. There's 5. So yeah, long boys. This plant is, where's a good leaf for you? This plant is just beautiful. I mean, the splashing on it is incredible. It's a very, very pretty Hoya. And a very serious grower. This one, I mean, he made it to the top of that trellis in no time. There's a new vine coming out here, which is, of course, in one of the most inconvenient places for a new vine, which is what Hoyas do. They sit for a little bit and they look around and they say, he's going to have trouble getting me out of that tiny little space between, this one is loaded with peduncles. It's getting ready to bloom. And it's done that. I mean, there's peduncles all over the place, buds all over the place. There's some more over here. There's some more inside, which is really cool, except it just keeps blasting them. So it might be a watering issue, which is, in this case, operator error. Yeah, there's a little bit left. I would really like to see blooms on it. Oh, there were little droplets on here and I couldn't figure out what it was, and it's nectar from, who's it near down? It's from Multiflora. So it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. I've been really, really happy with this one. It grows like weed for me. No complaints, no issues, no problems. This one came from Plant the Studio, and I've had really good luck with orders from them. So this is very cool. This is Hoya griffithii. And the next kit up is species Lai Chang Forest. Now, I bought this because I just love the leaves, but I gotta confess that I don't know where it's from, and I haven't been able to find anything. The only information I can find, and there was a reference that it could be from Vietnam, but I can't find any Lai Chang in Vietnam. The only Lai Chang I can find is on the southwestern end of Hainan Island. And when I looked at the pictures on Google Maps, it doesn't seem like a foresty kind of place. So if anybody has any idea or more information, that would be very cool. But get the measuring tape out. This guy, the leaves are measuring in at, there's 6.5. And down here we've got 7 3/4. I'm sorry for doing this in English, but getting a measuring tape in metric, I'll put conversions over here if I remember to do that. So remind future me to do that. And there's one leaf growing in the most unfortunate spot that's 9 inches long. That's very cool because the leaves are just beautiful. Beautiful. beautiful veins on them. They're just incredible, which is what prompted me to buy it. I saw the leaves and did kind of like, oh, I need that. That one needs to come home with me. They're very pretty. They're a little thin. Yeah, a little thin, but beautiful veins. They're almost translucent in that you can, if you hold them up to the light from this side, you can see the veinature. Veinature, is that a word? You can see the veins. And it's grown really well. So I'd love to have some more information about this. That'd be very cool. But in the meantime, it's a really, really pretty Hoya. And it has this uncanny ability to put these big leaves in the worst possible places, like this one. That one should not be growing in there. Let's see if I can do this without, come outside and play. Yeah, this is very cool, very interesting. Not much else I can say. It came from the Plants Are Life shop on Etsy, and I'm thrilled with it. I just want to know more. This is Hoya species Lai Chang Forest. Refresher. Now the next one up, it's not looking his best. It's definitely operator error, and I know how to fix it. I'm just afraid to fix it. This is my Hoya globulosa, and he's growing in a net pot. And therein, well, is the source of some of my issues. And we'll talk about that. But anyway, Hoya globulosa is native to Assam, Bangladesh, South Central and Southeast China, the Himalayas, Hainan Island, Laos, Nicobar Islands, and Vietnam. So it's got kind of a widespread covering several different climates. This guy needs to be in self-watering. These leaves are beautiful. They are 5.5, 6 inches long, and they would be stunning if he had self-watering. It's the watering. It's been sporadic this summer. We would get really, really hot temperatures, and he would drink up water so quickly that I couldn't keep up with him. It's a really, really succulent plant, and it's very pretty. I mean, I hate to show these because they look so bad, but the leaves are beautiful. They're just beautiful. And they're slightly pubescent on the top, but the undersides are another one of those that's like velvet. It's like, wow. And it would be gorgeous, but I need to get the watering better for him. My concern is that I have a Hoya globulosa kaobang, which you've seen, and it did okay, and then I put it into self-watering, also pond, but I put it into self-watering, and he's grown like a weed. It's just, it's scary. And the leaves are big and gorgeous and beautiful. And I'm afraid that could happen with this one. I don't really need him taking off and getting huge, but I do need him to be looking better. So, yeah, the next couple days I'm gonna up pot him and move him into something more friendly to him and see what we can do, because it's just you know, when they're doing well, they're just beautiful. Let's see if I can get a better. They're beautiful. That was scratching on the microphone. Sorry about that. But anyway, this is a nice long boy, and I'm going to bring him back, and he's going to be beautiful once again, and probably take over the world, because that seems to be what globulosa does. Anyway, this one came from Plants Wake You Up, and this is Hoya globulosa. Longboy is Hoya Kaimuki. And Hoya Kaimuki is not native to anywhere. It's a hybrid, so there'll be a first-time map for this, that was developed by, where are my notes? I should have turned the page before. By Michael Miyashiro in Hawaii. And it's a cross between McGillivray and Archboldiana. And it qualifies because there's 5 inches and there's 5.5. The leaves are very, very neat. They're kind of simple, but they should lead to something really great, because Hoya McGillivray has these huge, incredible blossoms. Now, this was a freebie cutting. I'd never heard of it, and it came from Plants Wake You Up as a thank you in with one of my orders. And so I potted it up, put it in a little pot, and it sat around for a while and didn't do much of anything. And then after a couple months, it was more or less established, started growing like crazy. Outgrew. I had one of those little cube pots that, you know, look really nice but don't really help me for very long. They're great pots, no complaints, but my plants tend to outgrow them very quickly. So I've just started putting them in like 4 or 5 inch pots right away. And so I transferred it, and it slowed down and took a little break, and then it started growing again and started pushing out these giant leaves. I mean, those are really large, which is what I was concerned about, but I'm learning to live with it, you know. You see all these cute little Hoyas online, and then they turn into Longboys when you get them and get them growing. So really excited. This one has not bloomed for me yet. I did not have either Archboldiana nor McGillivray, although the McGillivray part has been corrected, and you'll see him in an upcoming video. This one's growing really well. I would really like to see the blossoms, because that's what this one is all about. And you know, it's an interesting hybrid. When you see a name like Kaimuki or Sunrise or some of the others like that, that tells you that it's a hybrid. It's not one that occurs in nature. So this has been really cool. This is Hoya Kaimuki. And the next one we have is Hoya species Lai Chau longleaf. Now, this is another one I can't find out too much information, or haven't been able to yet. If you dig deep enough, you can find anything. The only reference I can find is to Lai Chau, which is in sort of northwest Vietnam. And this for me, qualifies as Longboy. We've got, there's 4.5. There's one down here that's 5. Another one over here that's 5. So, yeah. The leaves on this one are really, really beautiful. Let's see if I can get it to focus in. Maybe if I do it like this. They're very pretty. There we go. They have developed a little bit of splash. They have these beautiful raised veins. The splash is pink too, so it's very striking. Let's see if this will do it for me. Come on. Anyway, it was a little slow to get settled in, and since that time it's doing, oh, why did you go in there? I'll deal with that later. It's grown really well, hasn't bloomed for me. No peduncles as of yet, but it's a very, very pretty plant. The round leaf version, because I have Lai Chau round leaf, grows really well for me, and it's a beautiful plant too. It has the same kind of raised veins with a little bit of splash. Really, really pretty. Actually, that one's got a lot of splash. Very, very pretty. I wish I knew more about it, but I haven't found that out yet. So got this one on Hoya on Etsy. And this is Hoya species Lai Chau longleaf. My next one is Hoya ranauensis. Ranauensis used to be known as Hoya species pouring hot springs, and it comes from northwest Sabah in Borneo only. It was found at a height of 600 to 800 meters in the pouring hot springs area. It was named after Ranau, the district in which it was found. It was published in 2014 in Hoya New by Ted Green and Dale Kloppenberg, names we should all know by now. And it is part of that whole Finlaysonii, Callistophylla, Meredithii, clemensiorum complex. They're all related to each other somehow in a strange backwoods kind of we don't need to know way. The leaves on this one are measuring now in at there's 7, there's 7.5, there's 8. So very cool. This one desperately needs to be up potted, but the leaves are very, very pretty. Very interesting. Nice markings on them. They're neat. I was happy that I got this one. And I ordered it because the leaves looked very neat. And it was in one of those moods where I said, oh, I need a big leafed Hoya. I do need big leaf Hoyas, but big leafed Hoyas turn into big leafed, they show up as these cute little plants and then they turn into, this kind of stuff. And you have to make room for them, and which is what I have to do now. So this one's going in a larger pot in the next couple days. It's also going to get a much taller trellis because it clearly wants it and can support it. And I'm looking forward to it. This is very cool. This is from, again, Plants Wake You Up, if I didn't already say that. And this is Hoya ranauensis. Another one that should come as no surprise. This is Hoya clemensiorum. Now, Hoya clemensiorum is native to Borneo, Brunei, Kalimantan, and Sabah. Was found at a height of 800 to 1200 meters. Was first published in 2001 in Fraterna by Ted Green. And it's named after J. and M.S. Clemens, who were collectors in Borneo in the 1930s. And they were located around the Mount Kinabalu area. This too is part of that whole Finlaysoniae, Calistophylla, that whole group. They are related, and you buy this one because the leaves are so cool. That's just, I don't know if I can, let's see if this leaf will show off some of its stuff. They are very, very pretty, slightly raised veins. This one has a little bit of a wavy edge and a little bit of splash, just enough to, let's see if will it focus for me? Not that one. Anyway, this has been something of a slow grower. I think I need, yeah, he could stand to be up potted. Definitely is going to need a bigger trellis because the internodal spacing on this is quite long. The leaves, well, we're looking at 7.5 inches there. We're looking at 6.5 there, and we're looking at another 7.5 inches. So yeah, I think this one's going to need a much taller trellis. It's going to need to wrap around a little bit. It's the word that comes to mind is prehistoric. In the same way that undulata looks prehistoric, so does this. This is just, I waited a long time to buy one of these. I had to shop around because sometimes the prices can be just, plant prices, they can be crazy. Shop around, always shop around. Don't necessarily buy the first one you see because the price will come down, inevitably. They always come down. And there's usually, this one is like, I sometimes say the leaves are like leather or cardboard. This one's like formica. This one's like plastic. It will, if you tried to bend it, it would snap. It wouldn't just it would snap. It's gorgeous. Always shop around. Don't take the first price you see because there are deals out, not deals, but there are better prices. Definitely worth looking for. This is so cool. This is Hoya clemensiorum. All these plants can work up a thirst. Now the next one is really not anything of a surprise to anyone except me. This is my Hoya pubicalyx. And it's a Hoya I forget about. He's not in the plant room with the other Hoyas, and sometimes I just forget about him. And he's a gorgeous plant. Next page of the notes. So this is Hoya pubicalyx silver pink. Hoya pubicalyx is native to the Philippines, to Luzon Island, which is the largest island in that chain of islands. It was first published in 1918 in the Philippine Journal of Science by Elmer Drew Merrill. And I'll have to find out if he's the Merrill of Hoya merrilli. My guess may be that he is. This plant is absolutely beautiful. The splashing on it, on this one in particular, is just beautiful. I mean, you really couldn't ask for a prettier Hoya. And I should be giving him more love. I actually did recently. I moved him into this kind of neato, jury-rigged, self-watering pot. And I should probably show you how I did that at some point. This is very, very cool. Let's get the measuring tape out. We've got a leaf here that's 7 inches. We've got another one here that's coming in at 6.5. So yeah, he's a long boy. The thing about pubicalyx is they're fairly common. I found this one at Briggs Nursery, which is up in North Attleboro, which is literally like a 20-minute drive away. So they're affordable, they're available, and there are a whole bunch of different cultivars. This one is silver pink. There's Royal Hawaiian purple. I think there's one called Black Dragon, maybe one called White Dragon. And they shouldn't be expensive. And this one has tolerated some neglect, tolerated some less than ideal care. Although the self-watering pot, and I've got him over here where he gets a little bit of direct sun, but good bright light throughout the day. And he's been really appreciating that, particularly the self-watering. That was my issue. If it's not in front of my face, I tend to forget about it. So we've been addressing that. The leaves are just stunning. If you don't have one of these in your collection, this was a good one to try and find, simply because they're usually very inexpensive. I mean, I bet the original plant, which is probably in a little 4-inch container, I'm sure it wasn't more than $20. I'm sure it was probably 10 to 15. When I first started collecting plants, my approach was I'm not going to spend more than $20 on a plant. I won't spend more than $20 on something I can kill in a couple of days. And then I got better, particularly at Hoyas. So I kind of upped that range a little bit. But there's no need to have really cool Hoyas. So yeah, I'm really liking this one. This is Hoya pubicalyx silver pink. Thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week. And the question for the comments this week is, what plant or genus is your nemesis? I'll step right up and tell you, I'm the guy that can't grow Monstera deliciosa. I struggle with that. Hoyas, no problem. Monstera deliciosa, and even other Monsteras, I'm fine with. I can handle them. Deliciosa, not so much. So remember to thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. They all help my channel grow. A lot of the products you see me use are available in my Amazon storefront, and there's a link in the description below. I get a small commission on the sale, but it doesn't affect your price. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or down here there's 3 dots in a row. Click on that and click on the Thanks button. Let's see, I'm going to put links to a couple more videos over on this side of the screen, and enjoy the rest of your week's end.